not? What the fuck? The path of the Zion. This book outlines the tenets of the Zion, describing how the incoming Zion will prepare for her new life. Why not? Section 12. The tenets. Bearing the weight of the divine is a burden like no other, and while the true secrets of Akar are not known to us, his intentions are clear. He wishes only the safety and contentment for us, his people. This island is his realm, and the castaways are his charges. Because his hand is not present before us, it rests on the Zion to listen. We hear the words of the Master and make them known to his kin. As the offering ceremony nears, he heeds these words. Future science heed these words. Fuck. Know that we are not alone. Many of your days will be touched by loneliness and by fits of fear. Do not despair. Ankara shares everybody, and as do your family members and loved ones in the village. This is a trial that will not last forever, and it is one we all must share as a community, as a chosen people. In preparation for the offering, it is wise to meditate on the following tenets. Akara's wisdom gives direction. Zions are chosen by the will of Akara, selected by him and put forward as candidates to the community. The candidates are then discussed at length by the elders of the village until one is chosen and confirmed. From that day forth, this individual will be expected to act in a manner becoming of one of his or her station. Hello, Jason, how are you? The candidate must be prepared. Should keep fasting has long been a place of refuge for the devout. Use it. Meditate on the task ahead. Pray to Akara and seek out his voice. When you hear it, heed his words. Stay close to the Watchers. There are many on this island that will wish to harm you. Prepare, and you need not fear them. Prepare for the end! The life of the Zion is not eternal, and the end is and at the end of every generation, Akara will require a new seed. Mortals age, change, and die. That is their nature. When the time comes, the Zion will be called by Akara to step down and be replaced. Then she will be expected to leave the island, seeking out a new life among the others in the wider world. Always Akara, Akara representative. Time for a new Zion has come. Okay. I'm guessing death by exile. As they say. I think that's the part that I liked most of the Dark Knight Rises. Death by exile. What a great character. The Scarecrow. Okay, let's continue exploring. Why the fuck not? Let's go this way. Gem of Gloom! Some shit! Yeah! With the new computer and the new internet connection, I can go out in the day and it won't look like shit. It's very true. I no longer have to hide.
The Gwynnids live down the beach to the west. They're brave souls, but without faith.
Rest a while.
It is quite true. I think this thing, yeah, this thing will last me a decade or something close to that, without that blatant exaggeration.
Hello.
Okay, let's explore up to the keep and then come back and talk to the gnome. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that seems like the logical thing to do. It is nice. It will be nice when we play other games that are much prettier and more detailed. I'm not going to fight those pieces of garbage. Let's put the fire core that can take care of the rubble while I explore. Sounds like a stone somewhere. A lore stone, there it is. Let's talk to it right away before I forget its position. No, it was not.
We sing of good kings shipborne and stout, and fast waked and white-winged master. He was Ulfston chief, fathom for boasted and beloved. With bitter mandate they laid him upon a serpent steed. Kin kissed the brow and wept, tears into the flames, until mournful billow and scarlet banner bore him north. Treasures of his mind. The great blaze bloomed, true light and wild. A dark night lit by kingly fire.
Okay. No, it was a combination of the impossibility to boost my graphics both in the game itself and in export. I couldn't push the hardware a lot. Now I can, so the processing makes it much easier for me, and I got a better internet connection as well. And the 690 is certainly a big, huge fucking. Yeah. Although I'm obviously not pushing it as hard. I have it capped at 30 or so. What? 7.8? I don't really understand that. 7.8 and 7.9%?
Nesta doesn't think we can deal with the infestation on Storm Point, but I've told her I'd take care of it. Why haven't I? Well, it's complicated.
Ah, on the Windows index. You know what? I don't know what what I have in the Windows index. That would be interesting. I will tell you later. Yeah, when I take a little break, I will see what that's about. The keep, is it haunted or merely cursed?
The Diverger built quite a fortress for themselves. It's a shame they couldn't overcome their fears and stay. What a waste.
Okay. Tell me about the island.
We are able to get by on fish from the frostbreak and the plants we grow on the bluffs. There is no reason to venture beyond the village. Beyond the forests is the realm of beasts and pirates. We are safe so long as we stay near Cape Solace together.
Okay, then why the fuck do you want to kill monsters if you're safe in the village? Stay there. Who gives a shit if there's an infestation of whatever in the forest? But do you know the verga? You know what? In my country, I don't know if it's in Spanish, but in my country, verga means cock. Brick. Yeah, it's something like that. The verga.
They are dwarf mariners, small but sturdy sea folk who rule the kingdoms and islands north of Erefel. Don't be fooled by their size. They are fierce.
Dwarfs! Dwarfs! Finally! I thought there were no dwarfs in this universe. What do you know? What can you tell me about Deathkill himself?
I've only seen the pirate once. I was hiking the cliffs alone to pull in the morning's catch. The black ship Requiem was sailing out toward the sunrise, its rigging decorated with stark black gulls and corpses. We are truly blessed that he cannot come near the village. Akara be praised.
A verga fight means fencing. Yeah. You know? Imagine fencing, but with vergas. That's a verga fight. What can you tell me about you?
Gallows End is like every other challenge I faced in my life. Every day is a struggle to survive. My mother died when I was young, and my father was a thief. I was half-starved when Lord Pennion caught me snatching gold from his pocket. Instead of tossing me into Rathir prison, he gave me a chance to work off my punishment. I became a servant in his great house. And that's where I first met Nesta. We had not spoken a word to each other before the crash. Now, we are husband and wife.
Okay. I guess she sought the most suitable person in there to protect her. Why not? A thief uses dirty tricks. She's in an island full of ghosts. I'm guessing it makes sense to know the god.
All my life I was a follower of Lyria. And how did she help me? I was poor, I was hungry, I was miserable. Here on Gallows End I can see the effects of Akara's power. He provides. That's more than I can say for my father's gods.
Yes. It's always refreshing to have a god that manifests himself. Let's see how good looking is her wife, his wife, whatever.
You must be one of the new arrivals.
She's a slutty at the very
Cape
least.
Solace drive you out as well. I'm Nesta Gwynedd. My husband Cadwallon and I have only been here a short time, but we've managed to eke out a tolerable existence on our own. We did, for the scab infestation.
Who gives a shit? What can you tell me about the henchmen?
I know them from the songs of my father's crew. Low-born men and drunkards mostly. According to legend, the hanged men are said to be the fiercest pirates in all of Amalur. How such criminals manage to ever work together is beyond me.
I can find the answer in one word. Money! Money! That's what held them together. You plunder, you divide the spoils, you spend the spoils, Then you need more money. You get the gang together and it starts again. That is a powerful clue. What can you tell me about you?
I was born an heir to the great house Penny,
Holy shit!
standing high on the spire in Rathir. My life was one of study, tradition, and endless possibility. That all changed the day my father's ship was caught in a hurricane off the coast of Erevel. I awoke a week later here on Gallows End, in the gentle, healing arms of my Cadwallon. It was like I was reborn.
So it would be Verja or Verja, so something like that. The Swedish word for sword in fencing. Yeah, the Verja or something close to it. Isn't that a funny coincidence? Yeah, it is. Tell me about the keep.
Wouldn't I love to move our camp up behind those tall stone walls? But that's not possible. Gravehall is cursed. Nothing good has ever come to those who enter its vast shadow. In fact, none of them have ever returned.
Closer to an eye. I don't know. In the Spanish H doesn't have a sound. So I'm guessing, yeah. For example, hammer is H in English, but in Spanish it sounds just like a J. Yeah, like a ham and a jam. There is in Spanish the Y sounds well. A number. Yeah, a number. In Spanish you don't pronounce the H. The H is silent. So it will be a very difficult thing to get that right. What can you tell me about the Bergas?
You can find them all over the Frostbreak Sea, from west of here to the Near East and the Obsidian Isle. The Diverga are a stern and superstitious lot. They claim the oceans as their own, and frown on anyone who wishes to challenge that authority.
Except the Dead Kill, apparently.
We don't need to fear the Pirate King. His realm is to the west, deep in the caverns of the coast. They say he's been killed before, but that the flames of the afterlife buoyed his rise back to Earth. Oh, it's enough to give one shivers.
I think that's only in the Spanish of Spain, which I like to call Castilian, because that's how it was original. Spanish was originally Castellano, from Castile, from Castilla. That's where it came. So Castellano is the Spanish of Spain, and yeah, in Spain the X sometimes, maybe it's not even Castellano, but the some mixture between Basque or what's the other thing they speak there in Barcelona? They speak Basque and fuck me, I don't know. But yeah, X in Spain is sometimes like a J. That's true. But no, in the Spanish of the Americas it is not. Like Javier. You wouldn't find someone called that. Yeah, there is a difference. The people in Spain speak a completely different dialect from us down here. I will remember. Because people in Catalan, that's it, Catalan. The people in Catalonia do not speak Spanish. nor do the Basques in the Basque country. They speak something different. Tell me of the island!
Alder and his people preach community and hope, yet they cast out any who do not view their beloved Akara as the sun and the moon. I have my own gods, thank you.
Well, I'm not a priest. Don't get so angry. Yeah, apparently you have the gods of light clothing and trashy fashion. What can you tell me about Alda?
I have encountered many fanatics in my time, and none are so zealous as Alder Malloy. In the few months that we've been here, he's tried to convert me twice. Never trust a man who lets his faith speak for him.
Really? Okay. Tell me about the infestation.
Several months ago, my husband and I started a garden on Storm Point. It has saved our lives. Thanks to this secret spot, we've been able to fill the village stores to brimming. Now, however, scavs seem to have taken a keen interest in Storm Point as well. They wish not to fill their stores, but their bellies instead.
What are stores of food if not for eating, you silly girl? Everyone uses food to eat. And the scabs don't like it moved from its place of origin. But I don't understand, do they do that for free or do they sell the fruits to the people in the village? That's a good question. What the fuck is a scab? Other than a hideous monster?
Scavs are not native to the Frostbreak Sea. They come from the south, infesting ships and living off the cargo. And often the crew. They've made quite a home here on Gallows End, nesting in large broods deep in damp old fastings left behind by the Dverga.
Why not? I'll kill them. They're not friendly. Gives a shit.
If your goal is to ingratiate yourself to the inhabitants of this island, you've chosen the right path. You have my thanks, and the thanks of those who wish to eat. Come, we will take you to Storm Point. It's not far, just past the boundaries of Cape Solace and Gravehold Keep.
Okay, so past the safe zone, I guess. That's how you would call it, the safe zone. Okay, where you go, wherever you wish. You have more important things to do. But yeah, Spanish is quite an interesting language, because every single country has its own little bend on it, and things do not even mean the same when you go from one country to the other. It's not very standardized. And on the subject of the dialects of, I don't think there are languages of their own. Basque and Catalan. The people in those regions are really proud of those languages, even though they are only spoken there, because good old Franco, for some reason, was obsessed with making the Spanish the only language in Spain. Well, that is really strange. So he wanted everyone to speak only Spanish, and forced those regions to give up on using their native languages for public, in the public sphere, even the private sphere. Yeah, all languages in Europe are more or less that. Not. Holy crap. It is true, even the Germanic languages borrow from Latin. Well, it will go twice. Yeah, it is true. I don't know how they called it in English, but in Spanish, Spanish, French, Italian, what else? I think those basically. Portuguese as well. They are called the romances, which comes from Roman, the Romanish languages. Even Romanian, I think, qualifies there. Romanian, yeah. Because they are basically, what you say, bastardized Latin from the people, and not the Latin that was spoken by the elites. Okay, Fargorta, heal me if you will be so kind. Hit it! The piece of shit you are, Fargorta. There we go. But yeah, the only languages that do not have that, because yeah, even the Germanic languages owe some things to Latin, are the Slavic ones. Slavic languages are a thing of their own, more or less. If they are influenced by something, it must be Greek and not Latin. Because it was the Byzantines that gave them their religion and many other things, not the Romans themselves, but the Byzantines. Though the Byzantines would have believed that they were Romans and not Greeks, but who gives a shit now? Aha, on the Embarrass. No mishmark. Okay. This is not related to our quest, so I want to read it. Hey, fuck! Motherfucker. Okay. Let's proceed. Full? Freaking full inventory. So many potions. So few uses for them. Yeah. It's a long story, but I can tell it if you wish. Raccoon. Yeah. It is true, Constantine the Great found a little place called Byzantium, which was no more than a fucking town, and he made it Constantinople, or in Greek Constantinopolis. Yeah, that is true, but things got a little bit more complicated. Let's... What? Yeah, translated. Take it. Why not? Yeah. It's a town with many names. Byzantium was the name, but that's the Greek name. Well, that's the Greek name turned in Latin, but that was the name of the city by the Greeks. The official name in the empire was Constantinople. Istanbul, as far as I know, means the city. That's how the Arabs called, well, the Arabs and the Turks called Byzantium the city, because it was the only fucking city there. Well, not really, there was Antioch and Jerusalem, but it was the biggest city this side of the Atlantic for almost 1,000 years. It is true, the Vikings raided Byzantium, and they ended up as the Varangian Guard or something, the special guard to the Emperor. The Varangian Guard or something, I don't know how it is pronounced, really. Michael's Garden. Maybe that was the Emperor that hired them out. They came from the Black Sea after they crossed. Yeah, they went through the Baltic and ended up in Ukraine or something. And for some reason they went down to the Black Sea and ended up in Constantinople, and they paid them just like any other good monarch did, or at least intelligent monarch. And they became the Royal Guard. Fearsome, but tall, because the Romans and the Greeks were never big in the ancient times. They were rather small compared to the northern peoples. So they were big, they were bearded, they were fearsome, and they carried huge fucking axes, and they protected the emperor. What best way to instill some fear in your enemies. I fucked that up. I need to destroy that freaking potion. Where is it? Where is it? I need to find it. Motherfucker! Well, I'm guessing that might be it. Yeah, there were a lot of emperors called Michael. But apparently you don't mind telling that I tell the stories of, yeah. Constantine became the single emperor at a time where it was not well, not the fashion, I wouldn't call it the fashion, but let's say the rule of things. The standard was there were 2 emperors, not 1. And those emperors had 2 junior emperors, you could call it. Holy crap. So they were officially Augustus and Caesars. Holy shit. That piece of crap is hitting me in the ass. Time for overkill. Yeah, the Romans built quite the military machine in their day. Biggest empire until the Mongols came around, I think. Yeah, the Thethraki. Well, apparently you know it, so I want to delve into that. But in the end, when the West failed, yeah, West failed utterly, it was the Greeks, not the Romans, that took over the Eastern Empire. And around the 7th century, Greek became the official language of the court, not Latin. And then after that, it was actually the empire of the Greeks, calling themselves the Romans. It was basically the Greeks. Well, what do you know? There is a... Who gives a shit out those? Let's enter the dungeon. The Tetrarchy, yeah. I think it was Diocletian that established that, but I'm not sure. Motherfucker, this is related to a quest. Motherfuckers. Okay. And that's it. That was a big frustration for the for the emperor, because when the West started to get itself some kings, and for example, when there were crusades, by the time of the crusades, there was the Holy Roman Empire. technically was a continuation non-stop from the old Roman Empire. So the the Holy Roman Emperor was the Roman Emperor, obviously. And there you have it, the Holy Roman Emperor and the supposedly Emperor of the Romans back in Byzantium. So the Holy Roman Emperor addressed the Emperor of Constantinople as the King of the Greeks. That's how they called them. The Westerners called the Emperor of Byzantium the King of the Greeks, and it was very annoying as far as I can tell. Okay, Artifacts Tome 1. The Fae are creatures of magic, have created a host of artifacts infused with essences. We provide this book as an index of these magical items, both for the uninterested in pursuing those treasures as for those wishing to be entertained. The book is divided into 3 parts, covering the trinkets, relatively minor magical power, relics of powerful magic, and finally cursed items. Here knowledge of the item is scant or limited, where we try our best to direct the reader to the works of the subject. This book serves as a foundation for the Encyclopedia Magica. Herein we list entirety of magical items known to the peoples of Amalur. One observation that could be made upon reading this text is that there are only superficial differences between some of the items we categorize as the lesser nature and those of the greater nature. The differences may appear slight to the layman's eye, however, in our experiences, the actual use of the item is closer to the broader category it resides in than not. There is a specific aspect of greater or lesser magical nature that separates these items. Where the effects of the item are unknown, we have estimated the nature of the item to the best of our abilities. Yet in all cases, the magic of the Fae is an unpredictable force. We encourage those who would seek this magic to do with the utmost caution. Finally, we highly recommend avoiding the ghost artifacts at any cost. Usually a curse placed upon an item will go into effect immediately upon receiving it. Most of them will imperil the very lives of any known Fey victim. Almost all of them involve an intricate and complicated manner of removing the curse. Some of the fabled items found within the larger or greater sections may in fact be cursed. then, then you didn't do your work very well. Did you? If they are cursed, they should be in the fucking cursed category, not in the other ones. Wherever possible, we have recorded the method of purifying the item or purging the curse from oneself. Aha! How interesting. Ah, oh, great. I also like to hear a lot of things about history. You're up to the times of Constantine. Ah, great. So yeah, Constantine thought that the East was the future of the empire, and therefore the seat of power should be there and not in Rome. And he built his own capital. Yeah, Roman history is awesome. Awesome, truly. So much. 2,000 years, even if they were Greeks. I would say that's the longest empire ever yeah, to last such a time. From the time the city was found to the time Constantinople fell, it was 2,100 years. Continuous of institutional development and heritage. Amazing thing. No empire has lasted as long. Nor I think there will be any that will last that long. Ah, the Senate. Well, the Senate, he may not have liked it, but the Senate didn't have power at least for 200 years, but that by an estimation. The last time the Senate was capable of doing anything other than talking was around the time of Nerva or something like that, at the very end of the first century after Christ. But it is true that's one of the main differences between the West Empire and the East Empire. In the East, the church and the state were basically married. In the West, the church was much more independent from the emperor. That is quite true. There is a word in Spanish for that, which is, I don't know how to translate it, but in English you have the separation of church and state. In the East there was no such thing. In the West there was. In Spanish it's called Cesaropapismo, which means Caesar or Caesar and the Pope are one and the same, basically. The church and the state are one and the same. Yeah, it is true. The ruling by divine right is not the way of the Mediterranean peoples, except the Egyptians. Yeah. Well, I know a little bit about history. I like it quite a lot. Well, what do you know? My little friends are here.
The scabs will know we're coming. Oh, those little monsters can hear the hair stand up on the back of your neck.
Thanks, Jason. I will fix it right away. What should I do besides looking at those breasts? Yeah, I understand why women would get annoyed by that kind of... What armor would be like that? That's the worst armor ever. Half of her chest, her heart, her belly is completely exposed. That wouldn't protect anyone. Nevertheless, it would make for a good outfit baby doll in the bedroom. What should I do?
We could certainly use some assistance with those staves. We can handle one or two at a time, but not a brood such as that.
The distraction armor. The distraction armor. Yeah. The enemy would go, holy shit, look at those! And, um, an axe to the head. But yeah, that's it, Caesaropapism. If that exists, it's exactly what I was talking about. How the fuck do I do this? It is certainly the... But yeah, anointing the emperor, all those things are not are not something that went before. Not really, not the source of the true power, you could say. Or what legitimated the rule was not that it came from God before, yeah. What the fuck? What am I looking for? I'm looking for those things that repair shit. Did I go through them? And I know I have a lot. There you go. Let me see. Well, that was it. I should fix this one as well. Okay. The altar to Nodric. But yeah, the Senate was one of the last. Well, curiously enough, the Senate and the countryside were the places where the pagans had a lot of influence still after Christianity gained the upper hand. Destroy the scabs. Really, that's the infestation is limited to a little spot in this place. They were worried about an infestation there. Here, in the secret garden. Fuck them. Okay. Holy shit. I need to I need to destroying all that shit. I need to cut this video. It has been too long.
Thank you. Our stores were running low, and it's not as easy as you'd think to gather food in these treacherous lands. There are others in the village that could use your help. In fact, I was planning to ask someone to venture down to Scuttle Beach. I saw a ship before the scavs moved in. I'm convinced it ran aground on the rocks below, but I can't be sure. Someone should check for survivors.
Okay, why not? Goodbye.
Farewell.
My hero.
My hero. Yeah. The reason is rather simple. The people in the what is she doing? She's harvesting whatever. The people in the countryside were very superstitious, and praying to the gods was very important. Yeah. The gods could, after all, intervene in the lives of people, for ill usually, but that's why sacrifices were necessary. Something that almost all religions shared, even Judaism. Sacrifices, holocausts as they called them in those days. In the temple. And the powerful people in the Senate, well, they were true Romans. The oldest families in the empire, tracing their lineages back to the founders of the Republic. Those people cherished tradition, and Christianity was not traditional. Christianity was the religion of the slaves, of the half-wits, of the merchants, of the soldiers. It was not respectable until Constantine. Not truly. Non-drowse in the game? What? Non-drist? What? I am confused. Yeah, I am confused. Where the fuck am I going? To the northern coast. Okay. I don't want to go there just yet. Let's go back to the southern coast. Ah, that's a race. The non-drowse. Non-draw. Is that a word? Well, they are certainly a friendly job of Salvatore. I haven't read a single work of Salvatore. Are there any good? Because I just finished reading a trilogy and I need something new. Something else quest related. But I know something. you recommend? Because I know he is quite a successful writer, but I don't know if he's any good. And I measure writers by George R.R. Martin, basically. What the fuck is that statue? Can hear it. Ah, apparently it's this. Okay. I never got past the Nazgul mines in Baldur's Gate 1. I never got past that particular spot. I just couldn't take all the reading. But Neverwinter Nights. The Ranger. I don't remember. Or recall a Ranger, yeah. I think I never got to that part. Okay, I guess it's time to do this quest. I explored most of this region. Let's say I need to explore from to the east. Let's do this quest right now. Before I forget it even exists. Yeah, I will be playing Baldur's Gate. Well, I couldn't get on the ring, but the true reason was the gameplay. I play as wizards, and I find the rules of D&D for wizards just crazy. Yeah, crazy. And archaic, and opaque, and annoying. And I couldn't take it. You have to sleep to use the spell because the brain has to be rearranged. Fuck that bullshit. But apparently sorcerers, as I learned in Neverwinter Nights, do not have that problem. So, happy times with the new edition, because I can play as a sorcerer on Baldur's Gate 1. And I can cast all the freaking spells I want without having to worry. Okay, I need to go and get something to eat because it's what time is it actually? 2:35 in the morning.